wondering about who's with you. Turn the want you off whenever I want to. If I didn't love you, if I didn't love you.
All right, Victoria, how are you today? Good to be back. Connecting flights.
I missed you guys.
Yeah, I miss you guys too. Today we're going to be bringing on Michael B. Sutton for the show. Let's see. I think he's there. Let's see if we can welcome him in. Michael, how are you today? Can you hear us? We were having some technical difficulty with Michael. Still doing it. So then as we wait for him to come on in, welcome back to Connecting Flights. We live conversations with Changemakers, Trailblazers, Visionaries. It's been great. We had a great talk last week. Really excited to talk with Michael Sutton today. Big time, Michael Sutton is an accomplished artist, songwriter, producer, former in-house producer for Motown Records, y'all.
He's the baddest.
Golden era, right?
Yeah.
He contributed significantly to the label's legacies in the 1970s and the 1980s, collaborating with legendary artists and crafting timeless music. And he's still relevant today. I'm excited to talk about that too.
He worked with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson has some songs.
Kanye.
Kanye's biggest records, not just like it was a huge record. I can't wait for him to talk about this.
I'm gonna bring it back. Yeah. I'll do a little bit more intro and then we'll see if we got him connected on his iPad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done writing and producing hits such as It Should Have Been Me with Yvonne Farron, which was one of his biggest hits back in the day. Again, he was in the studio. He has tracks with Michael Jackson. And but now he's remains active in the industry, heading the Sound of LA label, collaborating with Virgin Music Group and mentoring new talents such as Victoria. So let's bring Michael on and hopefully we can get some sound now. Michael, how are you doing today? Can you hear us?
My hair is crazy.
Oh
no, this is so sad. Michael, why can't we hear you? His microphone's on.
Yeah, we'll bring him on.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
In the meantime, Victoria, why don't you talk to us a little bit about how you've been working with Michael and how you met Michael and how your project, let's get straight to how he's, his mentoring and the new talents. Because, I had some questions for him about, what it's been, how he collaborates with new artists and so how's it been working with Michael, Victoria?
I've loved working with Michael. Like he's like family to me, honestly. Like I felt like that immediately. He's just welcomed me so much into his home, into his studio. It was just easy. We came, he called me. So I feel like it was a godsend, honestly. He called me, heard one of my songs, and I went over and I sang for him and did all of that. And it was just, I don't know. It was just felt so easy and right. And so, we started working together. I cut some records with him and he played on some of my records. We ended up doing, I almost said Uptown Funk. I did a song with Funk Therapy, his group, some of the baddest musicians out. And we charted this year, which is super exciting.
Go ahead, tell us about some of the musicians that were on that track.
Yeah, it was like Michael Jackson's guitar player, Shaka Khan's bass player. Like I can't even name all of them. The list keeps going on. I can probably pull them up. Michael will tell you better than I can.
Funky. I mean, it's like real musicians. See, I'm a relic, somewhat in that. Like I also come from like when I was in the studio, and when I'm in the studio, I prefer to be with the live band,
for sure.
Although it's incredible what you can do just in the box these days, but you can absolutely feel from that Funk Therapy track that you guys released just how live it is,
Yeah. And most recently, we just released Oh Holy Night, and Michael he redid the track. He did the track to it. It sounds I released this song before. It sounds so much better. So much better. I mean, he knocked this out of the park. And we just released that one on the 6th. So super excited about everything that's happening, and I can't wait to get back and hear from you guys. It's been a while. Man.
Well, can you talk to us a little bit since you've been working with him, and last time I saw him, he had us at his house, which was wonderful.
Yes.
About, like kind of his as we wait for him to log on, I mean, can we speak for him? I know that we know some things about, how he first got involved in Motown and how he got, picked up by Stevie Wonder. Can you speak a little bit on his story? Do you know?
I mean, okay, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much what I understand from his story is that he went with his girl at the time to go to audition to sing backup vocals for Stevie Wonder. And Stevie heard them and was like, nah, I'm going to introduce you to my label, which was Motown. Mic drop,
Yeah.
And so basically Stevie Wonder discovered him and signed him, and he, started off as an artist, and then he quickly became a staff producer with Motown. So he worked with the best in the business, with Smokey, like there's just all of the legendary producers, the Trendmakers,
I mean, he was the in-house producer. I mean, he was.
Yeah. He's working with everybody, which was a cool thing about, like, the song that Square Biz, the one that we had that was charting this year.
Yeah.
He worked with Tina Marie. Like, he knows her. Like, he used to watch her daughter, I guess, and just they would hang out. She'd see him in the halls. Like, I can't imagine being signed to Motown during that time. With all of the best and the baddest, like that. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, that's it. The legacy of the Motown hits coming out at that time was just,
next
supreme,
level.
Yeah, it was like it was
literally supreme.
literally supremes. I know, right?
Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah, but but his relevance even continues today. Like, he got sampled by by Kanye. And I was really hoping he could speak on it, so I didn't really sniff out all the details, thinking that he'd be able to fill in the dots. But but I mean, he's getting royalty checks today for songs that got picked up by Kanye and resampled, and so how amazing to have such an arc of a career that spans decades, from the gems of the Motown era to like the shine of the hip hop.
Crazy, and it's not even just that it was Kanye's song, it was his highest grossing song.
Is that right?
Yeah it was his. It got like, there's some sort of, I'll have Michael speak on it, but there's more. It like broke records, literally and figuratively.
Like literally broke records.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I know.
We'll see. Yeah.
Do you want to play a song while we try to get Michael?
Sure. I did have something I was gonna play from him. Let's see if I can pull it up. And I wish Funk Therapy. I thought we were gonna talk about him. Now that we're talking about both of you, I would have pulled up Funk Therapy. But let me go ahead and pull up. Just let me see what I got lined up, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure.
And of course, where is it? It's over here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you get my stream key too?
No, that ship sailed.
Oh, you did it before. I forgot. Well, I mean, I still did, but you know what I mean.
Let's see.
Too many weird things happening. Mercury is Mercury in retrograde? I always but oh my, did you see that moon? Wait, I took pictures of it last night. This was crazy. Look at that. Wait, let me turn that off. Do you see that?
Let me see.
Hold on, turning this light off. It's like a perfect circle around the moon.
Oh yeah, with the ring. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that is wild.
I'm like, what's going on right now? Why did that happen?
It's funny. I've been out there with people who will see the ring and people who won't see the ring. It's like, it's really
what?
That was yeah.
What do you mean? I'm confused.
Like, just illusions. Like some people saw it, some people couldn't.
But it's pretty evident in that picture, right? Like you saw it. Oh, maybe it's just like where they were or something. I'm confused. I don't understand. I hope we can get him on here because this guy is he's the best. You'll just like love him. His studio's so cool. Like he's got merch. I'm obsessed with his wife. She's my favorite human, you know? Just so cool.
Here we go.
All right.
This is a song of his that I pulled up today that I thought was nice love song.
Since I met you, darling, there's a smile on my face. Since you walked into my life with such beauty and grace, I'm falling, falling, I'm falling, but I won't say those words. No, 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 baby. Falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, baby. And I won't say those words. When you smile, the sun seems brighter, and my day feels a little lighter, yeah. And when you speak, the angels all sing. That's a taste of heaven that you bring. I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, falling. I won't say those words. No, falling, 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 baby. And I won't say those words. Those words.
All right, I'm gonna try our chance of luck and see if we can bring him back to the stage. Michael, can you hear? Can you hear you now? Yeah, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh man,
We're happy about that.
I sound like Dracula laughing. It's like repeat.
Nice.
You have an echo.
How can I see you guys? So repeat.
Ooh, boy. That is not awesome.
Yes.
Can you guys see me?
Mm-hmm.
Michael, we got a little bit of a. Let's see if I mute him.
Well, let me see. It could be on my end. Let me see.
If there's like another live line.
I think it went away.
Did it? Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
We're good.
Oh, he's on twice.
All right, that was it.
There we go. Now we're cooking with fire.
All right, so then you know what? let's take it from the top, Michael. I'm gonna introduce you, okay?
Sure.
Then we're gonna jump in with some questions. Happy to. All right.
Can you guys
So,
see me? Can you guys see me? Okay.
yeah, we see you just fine.
Okay.
So welcome back to Connecting Flights, y'all. I'm Samir Moussa with Victoria Renee, and today we have Michael B. Sutton joining us. He's an accomplished artist, songwriter, and producer, and former in-house producer for Motown Records during its golden era. He contributed significantly to the label's legacies in the 70s and 80s, and staying relevant today with samples on some of the biggest artists that I'm excited to talk about. He was discovered by Stevie Wonder and many of the talented artists of Motown for his genius as a musician, lyricist, and composer. Some of his songwriting and production contributions include Michael Jackson, Smokey Robinson, Thelma Houston, and he helped define the sound of Motown during its transitional period. And he has some signature hits with It Should Have Been Me with Yvonne Fair and other memorable tracks as well. Anyway, the guy is a legend. He's done so much. I'm so glad to have him on today. Michael, welcome. We're happy to see you. How are you today?
I'm just finding you. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Samir.
Hi. So happy we finally got you on. Oh my gosh. There's so much we have to talk about so quickly. Wait, will you tell us about your song with Kanye?
Kanye. Well, actually, that was originally that's it was well, it's such a backdrop to that story. Actually,
Tell me everything.
I'll try to get it all in. Actually, I was working with this group called the Originals. You know, they had a big hit called "I'll Never Hear the Bells." It was written by Marvin Gaye, and another one called yeah, I Never Hear the another big ballad hit. It was written by two songs like it was written by Marvin. Anyway, but when I was producing the track, I mean the album, there was this guy who worked in the disco department. He had a song called Sunrise that he wanted me to put on the album. And he went to all the producers and everybody turned him down. So I said, okay, Tom, his name was Tom DePiro. Bless his heart, God, he's passed on now. But anyway, so I said, okay, Tom, it's a great song. So I said, let's go in the studio and cut it. So I went in the studio, recorded it, and everybody loved it. It was just a basic ballad called Sunrise. Sunrise, warm me in your glow. But the opening was like da, 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 da. I remember the studio was called Kendon Studios in Burbank, and I played the initial Rhodes part on there. It was like this intro, like da 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 da. Anyway, the rest is history. The song was recorded on the Originals album called "Down to Love Town," and so further down the line, a few years later, come to 2000, whatever it was. I get a royalty check in the mail, which was a nice sum of money. So I said, "Where did this come from?" And it said, and the song title was "Guess Who's Back." I said, "Well, where did that come from? Guess Who's Back?" I never wrote a song called "Guess Who's Back." And I said, maybe I should return this to ASCAP, you know. And I said, no, I can't do that.
Maybe send it the wrong cat.
Yeah, and my ex-wife at the time we worked on the song together. She said, maybe you think we should turn it back? I said, no, let's wait. Let me call ASCAP and see what it's about. So I called ASCAP, and they said, no, it's a song that's been recorded on Scarface. I said, Scarface? Oh, so the rapper Scarface. So I looked up further, and they said, yeah, they paid for, they did all the legal, went through all the legal process of copyrighting the song, what having getting permission. And it was, and I know it was sampled, that song Sunrise, Kanye West, and who's so smart, and I think it's so clever. For some reason, out of all the albums he found that album and that song. And he took those first few bars, 8 bars of that, and added a new drum beat to it. And the rest is history. It was a Source Award, won a Source Award. I think the album was gold, platinum, and won a Source Award for best mixtape, or best sampled song. And matter of fact, they say it's one of the most sampled songs in history.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And everybody was sampling. They had 50 Cent. Everybody started freestyling on it. 50 Cent, Nas, everybody. As a matter of fact, I have a CD with all the different artists sampling on it. Just
Oh my
my,
God.
just
I
like my
got
ego. Say what?
No, everybody passed on it. Now it's
Yeah. Yeah, all the producers
that's the music
passed on.
business.
Yeah. Tom was running around Motown. He said, everybody playing this song Sunrise all the producers, everybody passed. But we said, okay, I'll have to give you a shot. The song was really nice, and it felt like the originals because the guy Hank had this voice, this kind of gross voice, kind of a rough sounding voice, kind of like the Four Tops, Levi Stubbs, and kind of like Samir. It's kind of like a
Yeah, I
little
was
kind
gonna
of
say, like,
yeah,
it's got like a little like rasp, a little Janis Joplin.
yeah, right. And so the rest is history, man. It was great.
Love
It's great, and it's still if you go Google it, you'll see it everywhere. It's called the Guess Who's Back. It was Kanye West produced it, and Jay Z was rapping on it. Jay Z, Scarface, and Benny Siegel. Yeah, those are been rapping on it. Yeah, so that's kind of the story behind it. There's more to the story, but that's kind of the synopsis.
And that's
That's
kind of like this end of the rainbow, right? This is like where you're at today. But you know, your story started back in Motown. So like
Yes.
and you know, Motown's such a iconic moment in musical history, like what was come out at that time. So like I just have to know from you, like, how did you get involved with Motown Records, and what was it like working with such a label at such a time?
That's another story. It takes a minute, but I'll try to wrap it up real quick. Um, Basically, my ex-wife and I, we were a duet. We were a duo back then, and we were managed by these kind of, I call them fly-by-night managers. You know, when you're first starting out, they got these managers that's booking the
ah.
crazy. Victoria, you probably knew about this.
Oh, I know all about it. Go on, say more. Go ahead.
These managers that were booking us in these clubs, and we didn't know they were swing clubs, and we thought swinging meant like dancing, like swing. No,
Like
they
swing
was
dancing, like take your
yeah,
partner.
yeah, right.
Not the 20s roar,
They,
roaring
they,
20s.
yeah, they were
Very different.
Different kind of
yes,
roaring going on at these
yeah,
parties.
they were swinging their partners, all right.
Yeah.
It was, but there was swing,
My
there was swing clubs, and I remember one time was at this one club. It was the actor who's in the actor Doug McClure goes way back. Doug McClure, and I think it was called the Virginian. He had a club called Doug McClure's Swing Club, and I thought it like, oh, it was a swinging club, you know, but it was a swinger club, and it was right on the corner of Ventura and Coldwater Canyon.
Oh,
And I
really?
remember going in there one time. We was performing it one time, and we see a couple come in there, and they sit down at the table, and we see him walking out. I say, didn't he just come in with somebody else? And he just walked out with her, or him. Yeah. But it
That's the
makes it was a
vibe.
swing, right? But that's kind of yeah, that was so. Anyway, these managers, and one of the managers came to say, hey, you know what? He was taking voice lessons from Seth Riggs, you know, the famous vocal coach. You would know about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, Seth Riggs was a vocal coach for Stevie Wonder. And he said that Stevie was looking for people to sing in his backup group, Wonder Love. And so he said, you guys want to audition? I said, sure. And we didn't really believe him. We thought this guy was full of BS, you know. But anyway, next thing you know, about a month later, he said, you guys, I set up the appointment for you guys to go up to Seth's house up in the hills, Hollywood Hills. And we went up there, and we waited around for Stevie to show up, and he eventually showed up. And he got out, and he auditioned a few other. There was a couple of blind girls that sung for him, and a few other people. And it finally came to us, and so we performed. And he said, "Wow!" By the middle of us playing the song, he had taken off his shoes and sat down Indian style and kind of bobbing his head and into the music. He said, "Man, you guys no, man, I want to take you guys to my people at Motown, man, because you guys are really great." So, and that's what happened. So next thing you know, and he said, "But look here, I'm working on my album. I think it was Fulfilling This album at the time." And he said, "So I'll be real busy. So make sure you stay on top of me and keep calling me. Make sure that we set up the appointment." Let me tell you something. I was so persistent. I called.
There you
I,
go.
I
That's
wore him
great.
out. I remember. So he
But
and I
good
was
for
calling.
you for doing that because that probably changed everything. Like that, if you weren't,
Yeah,
you would have fallen off, and then nothing would have happened. I
right.
could take a page out of that book. I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, and so I called him, and he would sometimes he'd come to the phone. Sometimes his secretary would come to the phone, or his cousin John come to the phone and say, "Yeah, Stevie's busy, but he's gonna get back to you with you," and I set it up, appointment up. So anyway, so one day I called. I remember one day calling. I said, so I was gonna talk to Stevie, trying to find out what's going on, and I heard Stevie. I hear Stevie coming to the to the phone. He said, "Oh man," like he was tired of me calling us. And anyway, but anyway, so I think maybe a week after that, I called him, and he said Stevie couldn't come down to the audition, but John Harris, who was his cousin, who just passed away about 2 years ago. He set up the meeting, and John met us over there at Motown, and there was Iris Gordy and all the staff there, and we auditioned, and the first thing they said, it's anyway when you audition at some of these labels, they don't sound excited, and they just sit there and listen to you,
Oh
and I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
everybody's gonna
Very
jump
poker
up.
face.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah, poker face,
Yeah.
and so
Very
anyway,
Simon Cowell about it.
yeah, and one of them said, "Oh, good, good, good. So you guys, don't spend all your money in one place." And I said, "What does that mean? We'll get some money." anyway, anyway,
You didn't know what happened. It like took
no,
you a second.
yeah,
I
right.
never
So
heard that part of the story. I thought I knew everything about you.
no, then no. So anyway, so we went home, and I was just actually just living my life and waiting to hear something. So I almost forgot about it. Next thing we get a call. It was from Iris Gordy's secretary. And she said, "Hi, Mike, you guys, I want you to bring in your name, rank, and serial number." I said, "What does that mean?" They said, "You signed you to Motown." We said, "What? Ma?" Yeah.
Ah. So
And
what?
so
Wait, what
we
did that
signed
feel
there.
like? Did you freaked out?
Oh yeah, freaked out. I tried to
Who'd
remain
you call
calm, but
first?
pardon me. We
Who'd
didn't
you
call
call
anybody. We didn't call anybody. We didn't know who to call.
first? Oh my God.
We really didn't call anybody. We just was excited about it, and so we went down there, and they gave us these contracts, and I mean thick
Did you get
contracts.
a lawyer?
No, we didn't even use it a lot. We didn't know it.
You didn't care. I don't care. You
We
want my
just
soul?
signed.
Take it. Take it. You're milking down. Go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was such a virgin as far as the business concerned, because we just kind of gigging in clubs and stuff like that. So I know about, and so when they said, "Well, here's your contract," so I said, "Oh, cool." We looked at the contract, so I just signed off, turned them in. And matter of fact, somebody said, Aren't you going to talk to your attorney?" I said, "For what? Why?" So
No.
anyway, I guess somehow God was looking out for us because I was so busy. It's because of my ex-wife at the time. She was busy with the kids. But anyway, but I was so busy during that time. I mean, what I would go. I was so busy. After I went to this producer's office and they heard the songs I'd written, all of a sudden everybody started recording my songs. So I was so busy, and I was in this Hal Davis's office one day. Hal Davis, he had all the hits with the Jackson Five.
Yeah.
Got to be there. Dancing Machine. I was in Hal's, and he said, "Man, what a talent you are! My goodness." He said, "Wow." So and one day, here's how I got the money. How we got paid. So one day I had a piano that had missing about 4 keys, right? And I was playing this song. I forget what it's called. And Hal said, "Mike, um, is it missing the keys or something?" I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "It's missing keys. I'm borrowing this keyboard that Wayne Henderson let me borrow." And it was it. Anyway, so Hal said, "But then you get some money." I said, "No, what money?" He said, "When you signed the contract." I said, "No." He said, "Oh, come on." So he took me up to Joe Bett, and he said, and talked to Robert Gordy, which was Barry Gordy's brother. And he said, "He doesn't have a piano. This guy's a monster. He's phenomenal." And so Robert Gordy said, "What do you mean you don't have a piano?" I said, "No, I don't have it." He said, come to the office." Went to the office. Long story short, uh, put us on a salary, and we didn't know nothing about. I mean, that was like making $1 million to us back then, And
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
we put us on a salary and gave us enough money to buy a piano and a tape recorder and a whole bit.
So they
And
gave you the tools.
the rest is history. We went on. We stayed with Motown for about 6 years, and we redid our contracts and what have you. Of course, and got paid. And so that's the story.
Wait, question. So when you signed the contract, you were supposed to be getting money, right? And you did end up getting the money. Was it?
Wait, interesting. Check this out. But during those days, you didn't have they didn't have that. I think it's this law now that you could sign someone for 7 years, but if they didn't sign up, you didn't have to. There was no obligation to pay them a certain amount. But I think it was Tina Marie who won that lawsuit.
So there was no signing bonuses then.
No, it was.
I had no idea.
I think there were, but I didn't have a lawyer to negotiate. I didn't.
Yeah. So
But there was. But
sorry.
now there's a law. Now there's a law that requires that. I think if you sign to a label, that's a major label, they have to have a minimum of a certain amount of money they have to pay you per year, like that now with the major label.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
so
then-
Tina Marie got into the suit, and Tina Marie's the one who like made that a thing?
I think so. I think it was called
Cool.
the Tina Marie. Everybody says still today. I think it's called the Tina Marie Law. I'm not. Don't quote me on it, but you might can look it up.
Well, if it's called Tina Marie Law,
yeah.
probably the one.
Chances are good. She had a
Yeah.
hand in it. But
Yeah.
see, but then I get excited about your journey. So then you're signed, you get in, you're kind of learning how to like, how to
Learn the
dance
ropes.
in the majors and make a living doing it. And
Yeah.
I mean, it led to some incredible projects and recordings that I mean are going to live on for still going on. Like,
You're immortalized.
can you speak on some of like the stories and memorable experiences that came out of like the sessions from once you were signed and going and getting paid?
Yeah, give us all the dirt.
Yeah, it's interesting because my new wife, Anissa, I didn't really think about what I'd done in my past until Anissa, she said, "Michael, do you know what you've done?" Which I didn't realize it. I didn't. She said, "My God, you're a legend. You've done Michael Jackson, Smokey Robinson." One time we had 5 records in the top 5 in the R&B charts, 5 at the same time.
5.
Yeah, 5. Yeah,
Wow.
and then a lot of them crossed over to the pop
huge.
charts as well. I had 2. I don't even remember the group Switch.
Yes.
Switch. I had a platinum album with them, and then the rich Thelma Houston. Don't Leave
Right.
Me This Way. I was on the flip side of her million-selling single, and on that album, what's it called? Any Way You Like It. It's on my wall in the studio. That was a gold album.
Wow.
And but I was sitting in the office, and Lionel Richie and I be playing songs back and forth for the producers. Yeah.
Dude, you said that very casually. That was not casual at
Sounded
all.
like you said Lionel Richie, but
yeah, Lionel Richie, Lionel was there. Me and Lionel,
We're just jamming, just chilling.
Yeah,
Lionel, me and
Lionel was also a monster in that day, man. I mean,
yeah. But Lionel was with the Commodores at the time,
right.
and we've been because Motown had its own studios. It was called Mo West Studios on Romaine in Hollywood. And we'd be in the studio, and the Commodores would be in one room. We had Studio A, Studio B, and Studio C. And the Commodores would be in one studio. We'd be in another studio working on stuff like that. Yeah. And but the Commodores and you see everybody. We'd be on say lunchtime at Motown. It's 6255 Sunset. We go downstairs for lunch. There's a restaurant called the People Tree. I'll never forget. And you go down the elevator. Sometimes it's so crowded, so we take the freight elevator. And we walk in, there's Marvin on the freight elevator going downstairs. Marvin.
Yeah. No, man.
And then sometimes we're up at Jobet, which is a publishing company. And we see everybody up there, like some of the Temptations, David Ruffin, Eddie Kendricks. There's everybody, Marvin, just a lot of people, So,
what's really cool about this is that that era, that generation of artists and producers, I don't think there's ever going to be that again. I don't know if that's ever going to, because everything was under such a microscope at that time. Everybody that was signed got 100% of attention. Like, it seems like to me, like everybody, there was something very special about that era in music. I just feel like now, and it's exciting, and it's not at the same time. There's more opportunity now for people than there ever has been, which is incredible. But I think the era of I'm excited now that they're bringing back real musicians and real music instead of like people who are just straight up gifted, talented, and like that is circling back right now.
Yeah, like do you see any kind of parallels between how it was back in that day and how the music industry is going now in terms of like artist development and production values and things like that?
Well, actually back then you actually had artist development. That's a part of the companies, artist development. You walk in and then they say try to groom you as an artist. Back in the day, during the early days of Motown, they had like that whole department where they show you how to walk on stage, etiquette and things like that, and they talk to the women how to bow on stage and how to say thank you. And
wow, really? It was like that specifically? I just assumed that artist development was like getting your
Mm.
photos done, getting your records ready, and not
No, much
doing
more.
interviews. That
No, with Motown, and I think a lot of the labels got much more to more to the personal appearances of how people, because there was no hardcore hip hop back then and things like that. It was just mostly artists, and guys sung about love and crying, and and girls, it was about love, and but basically back then, it was much different than today, in my opinion. Although I can see both aspects of it, I see the advantages of working fast today. But back then, it was live musicians. You had to book live musicians. They had to read music or have a chart. We had someone come in. There was 3-hour sessions where you produce a track. You had live musicians, what's called a rhythm section. Then you go back and rebook a sweetening session, which would be strings or a guitar overdub, what have you, or percussion. Completely different than today. Whereas and then background, Victoria, you should know about this one. Back then, if you sung a background part and you made a mistake, you got to go back to the beginning and sing it over. we
No,
no,
no punching. No punching
just
in.
kind of perfect.
there was no cut and paste. It was
Yeah.
just no.
I
Yeah,
like that because
yeah,
what you miss now with
yeah,
punches is you
yeah.
miss the
Mhm,
performance aspect of it, and
yeah.
sometimes it's the mistakes that make something beautiful. Like for
Mhm.
example, like that song I know, 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 I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Bill Withers.
Yeah. Right.
That's how that happened. But it's
Yeah.
like the catchiest part of the song. But
Yeah.
could you imagine if it was punched? What would that song be?
Right.
That part of that song came out because
He
he
could
was
not remember the lyrics.
what?
I didn't know that.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that. And like
I
that's
didn't
awesome,
know
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
awesome. It makes me love that song so much more. Yeah.
Yeah, because back then you could I mean, like today, of course, you could sing a chorus and that's it. You could cut and paste it, put it everywhere you want it, the
Yeah, yeah.
main chorus, what have you, or hook or stuff like that. But back then, you had to, if you made a mistake with that hook, you had to sing it over again.
I mean, that's what we were talking about while we were trying to get you on the sound,
Yeah.
like with the funk therapy on how like clearly it's a live band. You know what I
You
mean?
can
Like
tell.
yeah, the musicality is like such a part of the magic, which
Yeah.
is, still, I mean, so relevant for your legacy for sure, because you come from the time when
Mhm.
it was exactly what you're speaking on, the live musicians, and you had that human touch throughout it all. Whereas now, you have the I don't want to say trappings, but like, it's easy to work in the box and make it sound super polished, but it takes away some of that feel. It's like it's a give
Oh
and take.
Holy Night is, I think that's the best track of Oh Holy Night. Not, I mean, I'm biased because it's mine, but I
It's
think that's the
good.
best I've ever heard. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding.
Thank
I
you.
think
Thank you.
it's the best it's the best rendition of that I have ever heard. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about you. Like
Oh, really?
what you did to that track,
Oh, thank you.
The arrangement, I'm
so
sure.
good. Yeah, the
Oh,
arrangement.
thank you. Thank
I
you very
forget
much.
how to do words sometimes.
Well, I had something great to work with, so I had a great vocal to work with. So
Oh,
thank you. Come on now. Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
And what's it like working with new talent now for you? Like, I mean, in this time, this era,
You really want to know the truth about that?
yeah,
tell
I
me the
wish
truth.
I wish
always
every time I wish everyone artists I work with was like Victoria and my wife Anissa and like yourself. But it just don't work out that way.
right.
Because they have this professional attitude about it, and it's kind of like it gives me the old school vibe because everybody was professional. Of course, we run into some artists that had an ego, what have you. But Victoria, my wife Anissa, and and maybe a couple other artists, they're just special. They're patient in the studio. And they know the business. They understand. Yeah, and so so it's always good to work with good artists. Good artists. Yeah,
That
Nice.
means so much coming
yeah,
from you. It really
Yeah,
does. Thank you
yeah,
for
yeah.
saying that.
you work with so many incredible ones. Like, and I know you have another meeting you got to get going, so we have just maybe a few more questions. But like,
I'm gonna text
Pull
him.
'em up.
I'm
Pull 'em
gonna
up.
text him. I'm gonna text him. Let him know that I'm running up behind. Hold on, see if I can text him and see.
I meant to do that. That was way more polite.
Hold
That's what I
on.
said on record.
All right, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna see if
we'll cut it out. Don't worry.
I'm gonna try to text him. Would that be okay if I do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
text him.
1 second.
See, this is why it was worth the wait to get Michael on the show, because this guy's been through it all. He's seen it all. And it's just like, it means more coming from him, you know, because like he's worked with the best in the world, like, period.
For
Michael
like
Jackson, the Cinderella song, that's Michael wrote that and produced it.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael cut it. He's worked with the best and the baddest. And so like, I appreciate that very much. And I hope that we can, like, you know, I want to make Michael proud.
Yeah.
I want to make Anissa proud too, but I really want to make Michael proud. I want to give him something big in his third act, you know?
Right.
Listen, I've done it all, you know, and I'm going out with a bang. I want to be the bang.
Don't you go, honey, wait a minute. Don't you go out with a bang.
I'm
Don't go
just
out.
saying. I just want to make you proud, Mike. That's all I want. I just want to make you proud, man.
Oh, you already have. You know, remember that I had this idea. It's in and I still think about it. That song, one of the songs by Originals, of you, me, Samir, and Anissa doing it. I know it might be way off, but I feel like it could happen. Nobody's ever done it. Like 4 people singing it, different parts of the song. Yeah.
What song is it?
It's called "Baby I'm For Real." Yeah.
Will you sing it for, like, what is? Have I heard it?
It starts off low. It's like baby, baby. Oh shoot, let's see. You don't understand. Son of a baby. I want to be your loving man. Then there's another part where it says, there's the main, like Hank, he had that same voice, Samir. He said, baby, baby, baby. It's like this rough voice. Then there's another guy, he's with a high part. What if you tried off the line? That's Denise. That's you.
That's
and
me.
Yeah. Has another part in between, but it's an idea. Sometime we'll play around.
Well, we can just cut it, and then if it feels right, well, let's release it. Well,
it's an idea. It's an idea. It would be fun just to see.
Yeah.
Little new school and old school stuff.
Yeah, and it's been nothing but fun over here.
Mm-hmm.
Say what?
And it's been fun since day one over here with all y'all.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. Both of you guys were a godsend to me. Truly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Samir and I met in a very strange, specific, and unique way. And so did you and me. Like, some things, I call it a divine connection.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, yeah. When we met Samir, we felt the vibe. There's definitely a connection there. It's great. Yeah, we're gonna do great. We're gonna do some big things together.
For sure. Yeah. We're looking forward to it, man. And you know, and you know, like we always, where you end up really also kind of speaks for where you started. And so, like, I'd be curious to know, like, you know, what inspired you to pursue music when you were getting into the game? You know, what were your biggest influences in this journey?
You know, actually, because I was a keyboard player. You know, I did a lot of gospel music. I started in gospel. I was raised in the church, you know, the whole church story, you know.
Right.
And
the best musicians were. The best musicians
I know
are Whitney Houston.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. I was raised in the church. Actually, my idol at the time was Billy Preston and Jimmy Smith, organ.
Billy Preston,
organ, Jimmy Smith, Billy Preston. And that was, of course, I always wanted to meet Billy Preston. I thought I would never meet him anyway, but of course, history said different. Me and a bunch of friends, I was just still in high school, I think. And I had a bunch of friends that knew that I tried to play at church and stuff like that. And every time we go out, they try to get me. We'd be in the mall or something like that, and they see an organ. They say, "Michael, get on the organ, play."
Yeah. And
I said, "No, man, I don't want to play that." Anyway, one day there was a big gospel event downtown Oakland, which is where I'm from, Oakland, California.
Oh man,
that was a wild time too in Oakland.
Go man.
On.
I spent years in Oakland.
You have to do a part two. We have so much more to talk about.
What'd you say, Samir?
I spent years in Oakland.
Oh, that's right.
You did?
Oh, yeah. I was in Northern California, boy, for
that's right.
10 years.
Now, what part of Oakland were you in, Samir?
I was in hold on. What's it called? I was working at this school.
El Cerrito.
No, not where the island is either. Give me a second. I'll look it up while you're telling your story. I'll tell you exactly where
Yeah.
it was.
But anyway, so it was a big gospel concert at the auditorium, and we were trying to sneak in, and we didn't have any money. We couldn't afford to get in. We tried. All of my buddies were trying to sneak in the gospel because we knew Billy Preston was going to be there, and there was a lot of gospel, like James Cleveland, which is a great a gospel icon, legend.
Yeah.
And we're trying to sneak in, and every time we find a way to get in, there was a security guard would say, "Hey, you guys, get out of here!" Catch us every time. So anyway, so we was trying to go in another way, and we saw these 5 guys come in, and it was Billy Preston was one of them. I said, "Man, there he is!" I said, "There he is! Oh my God!"
Whoa.
And they went in, I guess, this other door. So we tried to go after them and trying to follow them, but we didn't want them to see us following them. So we waited to see the door that they went into. So we tried to get in that door, and the guy said, "Nope." The security guard caught us again.
Dang
So we
it.
tried another place. He caught us again. Said, "You guys, if you come here one more time, I'm gonna call the police." Yeah. And we said, "All right." So we said, us being stubborn young guys, we went back on another exit. It was like an exit door like on a rooftop almost. And the guy came and he opened the door. He said, "I told you." He said, "Hey, you know what? Come on in." So he let us in. Right?
What?
Security
He just
guard let
switched like that?
the security guard let us in, and guess where he let us in was right at the bottom of the stage, where Billy Preston, where the organ was, and I was like right there in heaven. Isn't that crazy?
I've never in my life heard of a security guard being like, "I'm gonna call the police."
Yeah,
Actually, come in.
yeah. I guess he
Wild.
must have saw something and in us that we weren't really bad, like thugs.
Yeah.
Although we did a lot of crazy stuff, but he tried to let us in, and there we were right below the stage, and there was the stage right there. The stage was right here, and the organ was right there, and the pedals. I could see Billy's feet on the pedals on the V3 organ.
I mean, that is a life-changing experience.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
let me tell you.
that is a pivot for the
Yeah.
rest of your life. I mean,
Yeah,
you can only imagine what kind of inspiration you could probably still pull from that, because
yeah.
it speaks on so many levels, and I love it.
Me too. That's so cool.
Man, isn't that something? Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if that was like, oh, Michael's gone. Bye,
Yeah.
Mike. Where you at?
I'm gonna keep him live. He'll come
Okay.
back.
He'll come back. He always comes back. But what a story. Just, he loved Oregon. And then I remember I'll let him tell the story, but he was talking about, in school, Oakland was a wild place back then. So, sorry, there he is. Oh, he's gone. He does that. He's like an eclipse, this one. When he's there, it's wow, and then he's gone. And then he comes back, wow, and then he's gone. There he is. Wow.
Hello, can you hear me
There he is.
still?
Yeah.
Hi.
Can you guys still hear me?
I
Yes.
can hear you.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh wow, because somehow I can't hear you. Yeah.
Oh
It's
no.
weird. Huh. At least you
That's
can hear me. So I
Lex.
don't know how I lost your sound.
My puppy's trying to get in here. Get here, puppy dog. I love you, puppy dog. He tried to open the studio door. That's so funny. Would you mind? Do you hear this guy?
Yeah. Puppy break.
Yep.
Yeah. Bring him in. Just
Yep.
Bring our dogs. Hold them up. Does Michael have?
I can't hold this guy. Lex,
Yes.
what are you doing? Come here. Come say hi. Come say hi to everybody. Look. I'm gonna pick you up. Ready? 1, 2. Here I am underneath my legs. Oh, you know what? It's because I have a breakfast sandwich out here. You can't have it. It's not for you. You have your own food. I hate saying that to him. Thanks.
I remember you were training him how to talk. Use the
He
button.
does talk. Talking right now. He's a talky fella, that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, Mike has just done everything, and I know like Oakland was crazy. Did you figure out where you were in Oakland, by the way?
I still no, I haven't. I mean, I know at school I was at the Redwood Day School, which is like, man, I mean that school in itself has, I mean, just in the era that I was there.
Yeah.
Zendaya went through there. Green Day went through there. There's a huge festival going on right now called the what is it? Global Citizen Festival. That's like all over the country, all over
Yeah.
the world. You know, Paris, India, Mumbai. You know, New York, LA. Like, you know, U2,
places.
Coldplay. Everybody's like supporting. You know, is to end extreme poverty. The co-founder went through there. You know, all in the years that I was there, it was like it was some type of vortex that just pulled out some really huge game changers that came out of that school, and I'm
What?
still tied to them. But I don't know why it's slipping. And it was in Oakland, and I used to ride my bike from. I lived in San Francisco.
I was gonna say, I knew you were in San Francisco.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
know you were in
I would
Oakland.
ride my bike and then to pull it onto the subway, and then get out at the train station on the other side of the bay and bike into the school and do it on the way back, and that
That's
was my
it.
grind for a while. Yeah.
Wait, how far is
I was there for a bunch of years.
Oakland from San Francisco?
It's like neighboring, you know, it's like on the other side of the bay. So you take the Bay Bridge, and then you're in Oakland. Yeah,
Oh,
so San Francisco's got the Golden Gate that takes you out to you know, man, on the Napa kind of up there.
got it.
If you keep going, and but yeah, the Bay Bridge takes you right into Oakland. Yeah, so it
Fun.
was right, you know, it was right there.
I've never been to Napa. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my
How
gosh,
long
Napa
have
is
I
like,
lived? The best, right?
oh yeah,
Everybody says that.
oh my
And
god.
my little cousin's turning 21, and she's gonna come out here and come to Napa. So I think I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah, go if you can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Check out the vineyards. Oh man, it's like lush, the forest, the creeks, you know, depending on the time of year, but like, no, it's one of the most beautiful places I've been, for sure.
Yeah. I think we're gonna go to the winery thing.
Yeah, the winery tour is good. People,
Yeah.
yeah, a bunch of people grab limos all the time and just go up there and just hang out and do winery tours. But
I love that. Wait, are there
I'm glad we had a chance
multiple?
to get Michael on. I mean, you know, I don't know if he'll be coming back at this point. I know he did have another
He had another meeting.
engagement to get
Yeah.
into, but I appreciate him taking some time out. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy,
We'll have to do a part 2 with him, you know? Like
yeah,
that guy's got so many awesome stories.
right,
Yeah, he's just and what he's seen so much happen in the industry, you know?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's been doing this is all he's done his whole life, really,
yeah,
is music, and that's such a rare thing,
yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
to be relevant for so long,
Yeah,
you know, is you know,
crazy.
yeah, very, very a huge accomplishment, and of
Yeah.
course that comes with so many different stories. I mean, because the industry is so vast, and there's so many different ways in which, you know, his experience and can like speak to listeners. You know, how to get from the artist coming up to like once you're in the game to the product. You know, I wanted to ask him about like, you know, how he produces. Like, what's his flow like? You know, what's it like to be in his creative mind? Like, how does he like to turn on the lights for himself? You know,
I think
because
he must be doing stuff. Like, I've been in the studio with him, and he's
right,
just like he hears something, and he's like, "Hang on," you know? And
yeah,
he's so easy to track because, like, you know, well, he's like Nico, you know, he's like, "Okay, you got it." And, you know, some people, um, he's I mean, I don't know if he's delicate or if he was just I'm just, like, nailing it. I'm just kidding. But he is, like but he's, like he's cool to work with, you know? Some people, like, get off especially when I was mm, especially when I was signed to a label that's under a lot of heat right now.
yeah,
Those guys were straight up bullying these girls in the booth, you know?
right,
And it's just like he's patient with people who have no experience. You know, I've seen this.
hmm
There's this girl that, you know, wanted to work with Michael and he, you know, she hadn't been in the studio much and you know, he's he has tact is what I'll say. It's
right,
he's the kind of person that can get what he needs out of an artist without putting them into a bad headspace. Because when you feel like you're afraid to make mistakes,
Yeah.
it's impossible to be creative. You can't be creative like
Right,
that.
right,
You're not.
right.
And
Yeah.
you don't want to create that way. I don't know why these people were like that.
You know, and I have a suspicion that I remember, you know, speaking that there was a time where he came when Michael was flourishing with Motown, when the industry was run by musicians. You know,
Yes.
that's when he's like, you know, everybody was talking about love. The guys were talking about love. Girls were. It was all love songs, right? But then, you know, the story goes that there was a time in which Wall Street came and took it over. You know what I mean? And when the industry like that. And I want to ask him about this because I'd like to get some clarity on.
So the people running the labels were creatives, and then it stopped being that way, and it became that they were the bottom liners.
Yeah, and then the culture
and
changed.
The whole industry changed.
And
then fast forward to the 80s,
yeah.
90s, late 80s, early 90s, A&M Records comes out. And, oh, Michael's still here.
Yeah, Michael's still there. Where's he at?
And A&M Records put a creative back in. Hey, Mike.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We miss you so much. Are you in the studio?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm on the iPad now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I was still here, but sometimes we lost connections. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I can hear you guys talking. I can hear you guys talking about me, but I couldn't log in.
All good things.
Yeah. For sure.
But my other appointment, I told him I was running late, so we're good for a minute.
Okay, thank goodness.
I got about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, let's pick a little bit more about Michael Sutton. So like on your journey, I mean,
I heard you guys talking about the studio. We had to. I guess that Motown was a good training us how to work with so many different artists. Matter of fact, one of the difficult artists, the lead singer of the Temptations was Dennis Edwards. Mm-hmm. He sung the big hit was his solo hit was the song he did with Sida Garrett. Was it Don't Look Any Further? But he had left the Temptations. He hadn't left the Temptations, but he was working on this solo album, and everybody was looking for a song for Dennis, and I had this song that I'd written with this artist. This songwriter, Kathy Wakefield. She's the one that wrote Find 100 Ways, a lot of classic stuff, right? You know, with 100 Ways with James Ingram and things like that. And we wrote this song called When the Lights Come Down on Love. And so they were saying that Dennis was very difficult at the time because he was doing this thing. And he wouldn't show up on time and nothing like that. So they said, but Barry had this one rule. He said, if you're going in the studio, you got to come out with a hit, because you don't use the budget for. If you don't do it, you're in trouble, you know. And he said there was no excuse that you find a way to work with him. If they gave us the project, because we were staff, if they gave us the project, you had to find a way to work with him. And so Dennis was a performer. So I decided, I said, we would call and he would say, hey, Mike, what's going on, man? What's going on? I said, Dennis, we're supposed to be in the studio tonight at 7. He said, okay, I'll be there. 7 comes around, he's no show. 7:30 comes, no show. Oh, man. So I called him, Dennis, what happened? He said, oh, man, I just got hung up. You know, These guys had egos, let me tell you. Anyway, so I said, you know what? I said, Dennis, because Dennis loved to perform. He loved the crowd. So I invited a bunch of women, about 9 of them. They came to the studio, women, and I said, Dennis, check that out, man. We got food, man. I got women here. I got 9 gorgeous, hot chicks here. You got to show up, man. He said, you sure, Mike? Come on, Mike. I said, yes, come on, man. Let's go. He showed up, and performance was insane. The girls were there. The girls were sitting on the sofa, and oh man, and we had food catered in, and the performance. If you, it's called When the Light. So I think it's on YouTube. When the Lights Come Down on Love. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, really great performance.
You said the vibe. However, you got to get him there.
Yeah, and another artist. Another artist that came through was Stephanie Mills. You know, the original girl who put in The Wiz, Stephanie Mills. She had a big hit called I Never Knew Love Like This Before. Stephanie Mills. Yeah. Stephanie Mills, she was the original Broadway of The Wiz. And that's who they studied when Stephanie signed. That's who Dinah Ross studied her movements and stuff like that for when they did the Wiz, the Motown production of the Wiz with Michael
Yeah.
Jackson. Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Well, Stephanie was kind of like their example. When
Oh, wow.
but
That's
Stephanie,
huge.
yeah, and Stephanie was she was actually she was in her early teens when she signed, and but she didn't want to sing anything, so she was too young to sing about baby and love and sex, things like that. So, and nobody had music of that really outside of me and my ex. We had a thing called some more religious, spiritual related songs. So we was able to produce her, Stephanie Mills. And so that was another thing we had to learn how to work with something. And she had like a whole entourage with her because she was underage. I'm very young. She had about 10 people coming to the studio. She had 10 people in the studio with her at the same time. You know, it's crazy. You know.
And and do you know, mentoring artists? Is there any advice you kind of give to them when they come into your scope?
You know, you got to. I guess you have to have kind of like a feel for the artist. You know, and like I know Victoria was mentioned earlier. One artist came and she had this her first time in the studio really, and so I did was just to I just let her stay in the studio by herself. I said, look, this is where the vocal booth is, and here's you come and sit in here if you want to. I'm gonna let the track go open, and you just make yourself comfortable, feel comfortable in the studio, do what you want to do. Have some tea, what have you. Then I'll come back later on. I came back in about a half an hour, and then I'll see how you're feeling. And so that's kind of, and she got a little more comfortable. And I said, go stand behind the mic and, you know, sing along with it, whatever you feel. So I came back about 45 minutes later, and she was ready to do a take. And so we did the take, and believe me, I hope she's not listening to this, but she was pretty flat. Mm-hmm. and so I said, I said, and the way you tell an artist if they're pitchy, I just say it's a bit pitchy, you know. I don't say how much less.
Yeah.
It's a bit pitchy, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, let's try this again, you know. And so she finally got where we wanted her to be. I did a little tuning up, but we got where she was comfortable. Yeah. So it just depends on the vibe of the artist, you know, their attitude, what have you. But I have some artists come there have an attitude. They can be super pitchy and have an attitude that they're not pitchy, you know. Oh,
like they're killing it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like you're wrong. I'm right.
Yeah. I said so. Okay. Then I let him. You kind of. It's like a horse when you're riding a horse. You kind of have to give him a head so he can ride. So I let him go on, and I said, we're going to live with it and see what you think tomorrow. And they come back and say, oh my God, how did I do that? They come back the next day and say, what? Did I sing that? You know.
I tried to tell you.
Yeah. To tell you. Yeah.
You know, we were kind of talking when you fell off the camera for a minute, you know, about the industry and what it was like working the Motown. Oh boy, my train's about to leave too at this point. This is the whistling train over here for me.
Okay.
I guess
we'll wrap it up.
I guess
okay.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up.
Part two, Michael.
For sure.
Michael, if you could, we would love to have you back and continue this conversation.
Please, let me anytime.
Such a wealth of a legacy.
I miss you guys too. I miss you, Victoria. We got to come on. We got to hook up.
I miss you guys so much.
Yeah, sure. We'll get together for sure.
We'll get together soon. Yeah, in person.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, let's see. Any words you want to close on, and any personal insights or any reflections or any projects that you're working on now that you want to let the world know about?
We're gonna have my new song. I'm constantly putting out music because I mean that's just my love. I'm doing music. I have the funk therapy thing, and we have a song called "All the Way," which is out. Another one called "Old School Party."
I love that song.
Old School Party, and another. Then I just did my own song. It's called "Early Morning Lovin'."
Ooh, Michael's romantic.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Romantic is
I know. Hope it's romantic. I know it's crazy. Yeah.
And we got, and if you want to, know more about him, by all means, check him out. He's michaelbsutton.com.
Yep. You go to funktherapymusic.com. The label is The Sound of LA, which you see Victoria there and all her beautiful music and beautiful voice. Yeah. Right. And my wife Anissa, and so we got a lot of good things going. We're looking forward to the first of the year. And
me too. I'm excited to release our next song.
Yes.
First of the year.
Ready.
Yes.
Well, wishing on that note, then we do wish you a happy holiday, a happy new year, and maybe we can get you back on like at the start of the year. Let's just continue where we left off. We have a
We'd love to. We'd love
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Me too.
Michael. So good to see you again. Thank
So
you for
good to
taking
see
time
you
out today.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you
Yes,
guys.
thank
All right.
you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye,
All right.
guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Till next time.